Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. Good to have you on board. We're live in downtown Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino is a spot. Thanks for watching today on YouTube TV, listening on Sirius XM channel 158, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, or any of our great affiliates across the country. This is going to be a great spot, as always, with Mr. Las Vegas advisor Anthony Curtis joins us in studio today. Good to see you again, AC. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm always happy to be on this show. It's the only thing I break my busy schedule for. Come see you.
Yeah, well, we appreciate that. We know that you grind away and you put in a lot of hours, obviously, every single day.
I'm only kidding. This is fun. I get a Heineken on the way in. It's all good.
Oh, there you go. All right. You already had one, huh?
I did.
Okay, cool.
Well, I'm waiting.
Way to set the tone. So we'll ask you about contests coming up in a little bit. And you attended the annual Blackjack Ball over the weekend. And we had Frank B in studio last week, and he was fantastic as always, setting up the audience what that's like. It's a gathering of some of the best gamblers in the world every single year.
Without question.
Yeah.
And I mean, like in all disciplines. But they all came up through, by all disciplines, I mean, they're all advantage players. They play different games. You know, some of them also play poker, but not so much, more machines, you know, that kind of thing. But and other things, you know, like kind of shady, kind of half legal things. But I mean, you know, just stuff like multiple cards, you know, getting multiple cards where there's a reason to get slot club benefits or, you know, players club benefits. They're just good at everything, these people, but their core skill is blackjack. And that's where it all began. So you have to go to the Blackjack Ball, you have to be okayed. If you're new, you got to be okayed by a committee that lets you in there. So it ends up being 120 people. And they're just amazing.
And it used to be 20 people? Now
when it started, I mean, it started in the 90s, like in the 1990s, in Max Rubin's basement. I mean, the guy who puts it together is Max Rubin, the guy who wrote Comp City for us. Mm-hmm. And Max has done like just such an amazing job. What he has turned this into, you couldn't believe it. And it started in his basement. And the first one, there might have been 35, maybe 35 people. And we had the skills contest all the way back then. And way back then in like the 90s, I was on the finals of the skills contest, me and a guy named Wally Simmons, who's in the Blackjack Hall of Fame. And Wally beat me, and I took second. And I went on to take second like 6 more times before I finally won the damn thing. Uh-huh. And then Frank won it a few years after me. So we've got that on our resume. But now you've got 120 brilliant players. I mean, I'm watching these guys on the final table. I didn't make it this year, and I don't want to make it anymore. These guys are so good, it's unbelievable. They're, the things they can do, their skill level.
How so?
Well, they're doing everything. I mean, there's a card counting competition, and that doesn't even play into the skills competition, which is all about estimating discard racks, the amount of cards in a discard rack, which you need to count cards. It's about, shuffle tracking. It's about card memorization. It's about steering cards to somebody else. Like on the final hand, the winner, it was steering, where here's a joker. And that joker, we're going to place it right here. And here's where we're going to cut the cards. And there's 2 guys left, 1-on-1. And you two play your hands any way you want, supposedly knowing approximately or exactly where that joker is, to steer that card by the way you play to your opponent. And if you steer it to your opponent, you win. And I'm watching the gamesmanship, these guys playing one hand, playing 2 hands, standing on a 9, whatever they're doing until it finally gets steered to the other guy. It's incredible. I was like, I don't want to be up there. I'd be flipping coins all over the place.
Hey, that is something. What you said earlier, half legal. What's half legal?
Well, by half legal, I mean, there's a lot of things in the gambling world that people are doing to get an edge on casinos. Because what are casinos doing? Casinos are trying to get an edge on the customer. Casinos are trying to lure the customer in, the civilian, right? As we call them, the civilian, lure them in with incentives, right? So these incentives are so good that if you only played the incentives and did nothing else, you would be able to make a living. But they don't. The civilians play, the civilians go on and on and on. They play through. So the casinos are trying to lure the customer in. The customer is taking the bait. That's great. But then the advantage player goes, well, I'll pretend I'm one of them. I'll be lured in by your incentives. I'll quit. I'll walk away a winner. How many times can I do this with fake IDs, with bringing in people off the street, with that kind of stuff? So now that hasn't really been tested in court. So nobody knows. Where I go, it's like pseudo legal. Who knows? Is that fraud or is it not? And I kind of don't like it. I don't like this what they call it multi-carding. And I don't really like it myself. But in my opinion, it's incumbent on the casinos and the bars to protect themselves with their frontline employees. And if they don't do that, then they're fair game, just like the customer is.
So you didn't win the blackjack ball this year. Frank didn't win it
no,
either?
Neither Frank nor I made it to the final table this year.
Do you know the person who eventually did?
Yes.
And who did it?
He had a name. This is a new guy. All right, this is a new guy off the street. Like, who is this guy? And then you watch him play, whatever. His name tag said EV. EV standing for expected value. And that's like, the altar that the advantage player worships at was his expected value. So that's what winning gambling is all about, expected value, positive, getting as much positive, what you expect to happen in a play, getting as much positive EV as possible.
Younger guy?
Yeah. Young guy. Don't know him. Don't even know his name. But he went by EV. And he played brilliantly. And afterwards, I went up to him. I was like, "Damn, you were good."
You said something interesting about with moving the card, the joke or whatever. How familiar are you? How far does this go back with what just happened with the NBA, with this illegal poker games? And you've been told, well, hey, stay away from this game or this, and also how the different ways these guys cheat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, cheating at poker, that's a big problem with poker. Poker is such a fabulous game. It's, it could be the greatest gambling game ever if it wasn't for all the ways to cheat at poker. And especially when you start talking about online stuff. Oh, yeah. And a lot of people ask me, I've done stuff. I've played in some big poker tournaments and things like that. I've played in some ring games, but I do not consider myself remotely, high-level poker player. And people ask me why you never got into it. And I said 2 reasons. One is it would take too long to get great. And 2 is too many ways to get cheated. Yeah. And so, the cheating's been going on. Are you kidding? All the way back to before you guys were born, the Thunderbird Casino, on the Strip, on the north end of the Strip, where the guys who own that room were literally, putting the holes in the wall and in the ceilings to peek through and see people's cards. And this has been going on since, the beginning, and not to mention all the marking of cards and the bending of cards and all the different things that go on. And, just people playing together, collaborative efforts, and once you get to online, it's so easy to do it. And now that's what we're seeing. We're seeing low tech to high tech all coming together. And that's what happened in the NBA thing. And everybody's like, well, what's Chauncey Billups doing in there? And I don't know. This is just pure speculation, but my guess is that Billups was probably one of the original marks who got beat by these things and got maybe got in deep. And again, this is just speculation. I got no inside information. But they go, look, why don't you work with us and bring in people and you be a part of it?
Sure. Now, you never know what to believe nowadays, like what's real, what's AI. And I was fascinated with social media the day that this story popped. And I sent over a bunch of videos to Pauly and Luke, and there was, people were trying to explain what the glasses were like that they were wearing. So when you would turn the lights off, right, you could actually, it was like infrared what was on the back of the cards. Have you ever heard of something like that where the glasses would detect what's on the back of the card?
I hate to besmirch this great savant of a poker player, kind of a cripple of a person, but Stu Unger. Stu Unger won 3 World Series of Poker. And in his 3rd win of the World Series of Poker, he wore glasses that a lot of people said, what are those glasses? Now, a lot of people can go, how dare you? But I heard from some people that there could have been a lot going on. I knew a guy that got those glasses way back, again, in the 90s, and walked through. He said he walked through a place. They told him, he said, wear these glasses and walk through here. He said it was like fireworks going off, where you could see on the backs of the cards what these glasses could do. So, they exist. And, that should be very, very easy to guard against. Somebody get your own set or something, or, put your ear to the ground and listen to what's going on. But, those the glasses for marked cards have been around for a long time.
Yeah.
No, you know what? Stu Unger was one of the greatest savant poker players of all
Sure.
time. So, again, I don't want to besmirch his reputation at all. Maybe he was just that great. I know he was. In the first two, he wasn't wearing any glasses, but he wore those strange glasses through the whole damn thing, and he made some pretty amazing plays.
Yeah, and you're not the only person, I'm guessing, who has had that idea then, or probably other people talked about it as well for a long, long time.
Yeah, I've heard about it from many people
sure.
who are much deeper into it than me.
Right,
you
right.
know.
More with-
Again, nothing solid. Honest. You know, if I knew, I would say, well, it's true. But I'm just saying, everybody wants to cast aspersions, right? Everyone wants to say, oh, this happened, but, you know, I haven't seen it, but it could have been.
Anthony was part of the Morongo game and the trip that Frank B talked about. we got to get into that. Also, who was on the payroll and some questions from the ball as well. Breeders' Cup is here. 14 championship races. Don't want to go in guessing. Full expert pick sheet for just $9.99. Every race straight from Somich and the crew here. And try to get the Derby Superfecta, who hit it last year. If you're a VSiN Pro subscriber, get the picks free. Top selections, confidence scores. Zero fluff, huge value. Pre-order now, vsin.com/breeders, vsin.com/breeders.
All right, yeah, we'll continue with Anthony Curtis, Las Vegas advisor, coming up next. Like Pauly was talking about, that trip that Frank told last week, that story about going to Morongo Casino back almost like 25 years ago now. It was unbelievable. We'll kind of reset that. And I can't wait to hear any similar stories that Anthony was a part of back in his prime blackjack playing days. Coming up next on Follow the Money, it's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Did you know your credit card points and miles can lose value to inflation? Credit card companies often reduce the redemption value of your points and miles. Now, imagine a credit card with rewards that can grow in value. With the Gemini credit card, you can earn Bitcoin or one of over 50 other cryptos instantly with no annual fee. Every swipe at the store or gas pump earns you instant rewards deposited straight to your account. Plus, sign up now for a $200 Bitcoin bonus to kickstart your rewards. Visit Gemini.com/card today. Check out the link in the description for more information on rates and fees. Again, if you're looking to invest in Bitcoin but don't know where to start, the Gemini credit card makes it easy.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We continue here with Anthony Curtis. LasVegasAdvisor.com is the website. So you attended the annual Blackjack Ball over the weekend. Frank B did as well. You guys are former winners. A new player that you did not know the name of, actually. His name tag said EV on it. That's what he went by. You said he was ultra impressive, and he won it over the weekend. I always love the question portion of the contest. Frank had some last year that were shared. And they're always extremely difficult.
Yeah.
Do you have a couple that?
Well, this year it was interesting because this year it was a lot of things that you couldn't even. I didn't bring them along with me because I didn't know you were going to ask me about this, but I remember some. You couldn't. It was like, okay, here's a hands. These are hands. What's the proper basic? Here are the rules. Dealer stands on soft 17, 6 decks, double after split. Surrender, late surrender allowed. They give you all these ideas. These rules that you have to play by. Now, how do you play these hands? So there are a lot of them, and they were all very, very close to the edge that you would surrender versus just hitting it, that sort of thing. So it's hard for me to say exactly, but one of them was, according to some sort of online thing, one of the most influential, that was the word, one of the most influential blackjack players of all time was Al Francesco. Now, not many people know the name Al Francesco. So they said there were 3. They named 3. Who were the other 2? Name one of the other 2. You could only pick one. So I was like, you're thinking Ed Thorpe. Ed Thorpe was at the party. Ed Thorpe, 93 years old,
Wow.
Road Beat the Dealer, started the whole thing, got up and addressed the whole, oh my God, it's so great. Addressed the whole crowd. But you're thinking Ed Thorpe, but then you're thinking, well, wait a minute, influential, this new age, wouldn't it be Don Johnson? Because Don Johnson's the guy who he's in, the book Advantage Players, taking Atlantic City for $12 million.
Yeah, great book.
All the different things that Don Johnson did. So both Frank and I put Don Johnson down there. And I'll be damned if it wasn't Ed Thorpe and somebody else. Yeah. So we were gone. We were out. But I mean, that was one of them. You kind of had to know that. Other questions, again, almost all of them were like numbers things.
Okay.
Where you had to, in the past, it would be like, okay, what casino in Oklahoma has the most blackjack tables and blah, blah, blah. But we didn't have much of that this year.
Okay.
It was different.
So last week,
I prefer those.
I think those are awesome.
Yeah, those are
because you
better
got a shot at those.
Yeah.
Frank B told an unbelievable story years ago about traveling to Morongo, the casino there in California, because Stanford Wong sent out an alert that they were going to have a promotion on Friday the 13th, and they're going to pay off every hand of 13, which pops every 15% of the time as a blackjack. So it was too good to be true, because they realized once everybody showed up, the casino said, well, we changed our mind. It's off, right?
Yeah.
You were there that day?
Yeah, I was there. Everybody was there. I mean, back then there was, this had to be the 90s. Yeah. And everybody, the internet wasn't what it is, if it even was back then. Everybody did things through beepers and all of that. And Stanford Wong had a newsletter that put out differences in games and, opportunities and things. So he sent out this like special alert by fax. Wow. That's how we used to get these things, right? And it was like, okay, every 13, that you get a 13. And not only does it win automatically, but it pays 3-2. And the edge was, Frank and I were talking about it. Frank quoted an edge that I said, I don't think so. And we looked into it and he was off. But I think the edge was about 13%. I think Frank said 20 something, and he said, yeah, right. He had miscalculated. But it was something like 13% edge. And everybody had to go. And I remember that I was in the middle of a custody case for my son. I mean, I was never married, but I had a son with a girl, and we split up, and I was in a custody case to get him because I wanted to get him, right? And she agreed, and it went to me. And so now I'm the new dad. And I'm like, I call my mom and dad. I go, I gotta go to this. I felt so guilty. It was unbelievable. But I said, I have to go. And then that's the way it was. Everyone who was anyone was there. And we waited. And Morongo was looking at who was there and the conversations that were going on. And there were like backroom deals to buy seats, because by then all the seats were taken. We went real early, so we had seats. The seats were like gold, and everybody was waiting to play. And the time came, there was 30 minutes to go, and that loudspeaker comes over going, we're sorry, but we're canceling the deal. And they're an Indian reservation, so there was nowhere you could go to argue it or anything else. And I'll never forget this. I thought, I came out here, I did this, nothing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm driving away, and I look in the rearview mirror, and I see Morongo, and all I see is moron go. I'm like, yep.
Bob Dancer said that one time on this show, and I think Narcessian, who you got to bring in as the lawyer, that those places are allowed to do whatever they want, essentially, and make up their own rules. Or
you got to be very careful if you're going to do anything that they might not like, whether it's legal or not. Even just counting cards or something like that on Indian land, because they're sovereign. They have their own rules. They have their own people. I mean, they're not going to burn you at the stake. There's none of that stuff going on. They're not going to do that. But they can arrest you, and they can do things. So you have to be very careful in what you do on Indian land.
I'm fascinated by not necessarily who's on the team, but when you're doing this as a professional blackjack player, like everyone you can go to if you need something. Frank told the incredible story about we had a lie detector guy. Like if a guy was holding back and if we thought he was lying about what he was winning, we'll put him on the Pauly, right? Or I need a fake ID now. Like how many people did you have where I got to call this guy, I'm in a pinch, I got to call this guy needs to be called.
Or they could call you and put Pauly on them. But no, they did. I mean, we didn't. My group didn't go that far because we all trusted each other, But these groups, our group was about 8 or 9 people. And a few people would come and go, and everybody that came in we knew personally. But these other ones that really scaled and made really big teams, they would have people coming in. Now they'd have to go through what's called a checkout. The checkout would be basically they're being tested to see how good they were. They would have to count the cards, tell you the count, and be able to do all these different things to show that they had the skills to do what they were doing. Whatever their play was. Or if they were doing a different kind of play, cutting or steering or something like that, they would have to, prove they were good. But then it always came into who trusts who. And a lot of those places they used polygraphs and they did stuff like that. And everybody had, we were able to call somebody if we needed an ID or something like that. Everybody, even if they weren't in your group per se, you could call somebody and they say, yeah, go use this guy. And he wouldn't even, he'd make his money because he would get paid for it. Yeah. Right? A couple $100 to make you an ID and that sort of thing. So it was an amazing network. It really was.
How many times would something like that pop up? The Morongo thing was maybe once in a generation or whatever, and it didn't even take place because they said, oh my God, this is way too good. But how many times did something pop up that was like too good to be true?
Quite a lot. I mean, things would come up all the time, but it would be for amounts, for different amounts. Like, one I remember at the old Continental, which is now the Silver Sevens, right?
Yeah.
So the old Continental had a thing that, and this was a low rollers feast because, a lot of times something would come up to take really great advantage of Morongo. You had to be betting the maximum, which I think was probably 500. It might have been even 1,000, but I think at least 500. The Continental did this thing where if for any $5 or above, if you got back-to-back naturals, you got a $500 bonus. Now, that's gonna happen once in about 400 and some hands. So it's got about, with a full table every couple of hours, you're going to get that $500 bonus, right? No, I'm sorry, excuse me, more like about every 4 to 6 hours, you're going to get that bonus. And so all the $5 grinders were there. And I remember I heard about it late, and I went to play because I was a $5 grinder. And I was like, I'm going to go play this thing. This is great. And you could not get a seat. There was no way. And it looked like a jailbreak. It was like every grifter from the street that you'd ever seen anywhere were all there. It's like, you just get out of jail. What, where'd you come from? That sort of thing. And there was a big reunion, and that ran for like a day, and they threw the white flag, and that was enough. But there would be things like that all the time.
You promote the coupon book and what's going on, Las Vegas Advisor, new books coming out, etc. Please.
Yeah, well, okay, sure. Las Vegas Advisor. That's what I do now. I don't go out and play with these guys anymore. I publish books in a newsletter, and LVA is our main thing, and our coupon book is the best coupon book in Vegas. It's a lot of free money in there, a lot of discounts, 2-for-1s, 2-for-1 for the Palms lobster buffet for $70.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's you can use it till the end of the year, and then we're going to have a new one for the new year, and that's going to be good too.
I don't ask you for much. If I know it's
okay,
hard.
I'll comp you.
No. Can we ever talk and interview Brian, please?
Brian Zembic,
the man who had $100,000 breasts put in as a prop bet and never took them out. I got to talk to this
Brian
guy.
Zembic would be the most fascinating interview you ever had.
I agree.
This is a guy who walks around with boobs. He has for 20, 30 years. And he is his daughter's a concert pianist. He is some say the best backgammon player in the world. He can speak 2 or 3 different languages. I've never seen a guy in public who's got more personality in my life. And the thing is, he doesn't live in Vegas anymore. When he comes back to Vegas, I will do my utmost to get him in here.
Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thanks, guys.
I appreciate that. Best Bets College Football, Paul Stone next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Always a great time talking to Anthony Curtis, Las Vegas Advisor. Now we head out to the Progressive Guest Line. Paul Stone joins the program. Follow him on X at Paul Stone Sports. We'll talk some college football here. Mr. Stone, good afternoon. We appreciate it. Before we get some of your analysis on games that you're betting this weekend in this great sport that we have every single, Saturday, basically the main card, obviously. How many games are going to be impacted this weekend? It's only Tuesday, but by Hurricane Melissa. And what is your advice out there?
Just taking a quick look at the schedule, Mitch, 3 games kind of stood out to me there on the Eastern Seaboard that may be impacted. As you mentioned, we're 5 days out from Saturday, November 1st, and weather can shift quickly. But the games that I'm kind of eyeing are going to be East Carolina at Temple there in Philadelphia. Notre Dame is going to Boston College. Of course, they're in Chestnut Hill. And then we've got UAB traveling to Connecticut in East Hartford, and especially that latter game. Both those teams really like to throw the ball. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait and see. You can't wait too long. You've got to get out in front of it. You got to bet a little bit at some point and just hope that the high winds come to fruition if they're still in the forecast. But I look for sustained winds of about 15 miles per hour or higher during that 4-hour pocket of the game. And bet an under, in that case. So that kind of be my recommendation. If it looks like the wind, when you look at those hourly forecasts, is going to be at least 15 miles an hour during the game, then that might be a time to bet the under. But if you wait too long, you're going to see that total has dropped 2 or 3 points, and people have gotten ahead of you in line.
We all knew that Oklahoma had a very difficult schedule entering the season. Some people still made the case, Mateer for Heisman, he gets hurt. Oklahoma is a possible SEC winner, playoff team for sure, and a team that, who knows, could make a deep run to the playoffs. They finally played a high-scoring game in their loss against Ole Miss last week. Now they play against Tennessee on the road. Vols laying 3 here. Who do you like?
And, when I look at Oklahoma, Mitch, I see a team that perhaps did its best work early, has a quarterback who's clearly playing at less than 100%, and also, just to me, kind of the undeniable fact that even though they ascended to number 5 in one poll at the end of September, they were never probably quite that good, and they largely got their position, that number 5 ranking, based on September victories at home over Michigan and Auburn. You look at that Michigan game back in week 2, and not to take away from it, but, Michigan's starting a very talented true freshman quarterback, but nonetheless, Bryce Underwood making his first career road start against a tough Sooner defense there in Norman, only his second career start period. So that's a tough assignment. And then that Auburn game, they beat the Tigers 24-17 in that game, but they used the hideout play. You'll recall, lined the receiver up, looked like he was going off the field, lines up just inside the left sideline. They throw a touchdown pass. SEC officials subsequently admitted the following day that touchdown should have been nullified. It was actually something that they talked about extensively in the offseason with coaches, but for some reason it's not called. Oklahoma wins that game as well. Just a side note before I continue, Oklahoma, they joined the conference SEC prior to the 2024 season. They have yet to score more than 27 points in an SEC game. So very interesting little tidbit there, I thought. And this all comes down to John Mateer. He gets injured in that Auburn game early, continues to play. He sits out the Kent State game, got injured again against Auburn on September 20th, has the surgery 4 days later on September 24th, comes back and plays a game 17 days post-surgery against Texas. And in those 3 games since his surgery, he just hadn't been the same player. In those 3 games against Texas, South Carolina, and Ole Miss, he's completed only 55 of 95 passes, so only 58%. He's averaged only 6.1 yards per attempt on those throws. He's only rushed for a total of 36 yards on 35 carries. So he's just not the same guy. I commend him for coming back. He's a competitor. He wants to play, but I just think he's at something less than 100%. And I think this is an Oklahoma team that just, again, I think they did their best work early. I don't think they were as good as we thought they were. And on the other hand, this Tennessee team, I think their trajectory is still going upward. Joey Aguilar really playing well. Their passing game is, high octane. They're outscoring opponents. They know who they are. They got to get out there and outscore the opposition. And I like Tennessee at Neyland Stadium on Saturday. I think they're going to beat the Sooners more than 3.
All right, my friend, I'm with you on this one. I've seen this movie before when Lincoln Riley goes on the road and also in the Eastern or Central time zone. It was 7, now 6.5. What do you think of Nebraska here against USC Saturday night?
I tell you, as handicappers, we use different techniques, Pauly, as we evaluate a game and whether to bet a side or a total or not. And on one hand, we use what's called quantitative handicapping techniques, power ratings, and we utilize different statistical data and things like that. And that's what I typically do. I consider myself a quantitative type handicapper, but sometimes you use techniques that are called qualitative, and that's more scheduling and situations and things like that. And that's exactly what we're looking at, as you alluded to here with the USC Trojans. The situation in this game, and specifically the situation for USC and their kryptonite, no question about it, at least the last few years, has been when they go on the road as a road favorite. Since the start of the 2023 season, USC only 1-9 against the spread as a road favorite. If you look back since the beginning of last season, the 2024 season, USC has been favored on the road 7 times. They've lost 5 of those games outright. So if you would have played the underdog, the home underdog in those games on the money line as well, you would really be in good position. Again, 1-9. That includes 2 that's since 2023 as a road favorite against the spread, includes 2 non-covers this year at Illinois and at Purdue. You look at this Nebraska team, they're 6-2, but it's been against a quite manageable schedule, to put it nicely. They really haven't done a whole lot to inspire great confidence, in my opinion. Last week against Northwestern, the Wildcats fight back to tie the game at 21 late. Nebraska goes down, mounts a game-winning drive, wins that game 28-21. But sometimes, again, as sports bettors, as handicappers, we make plays that are more a play against one team rather than a play on the other team. And that's really what this play is all about. It's just fading USC on the road. Mm-hmm. They've not proven themselves to be able to, carry the small wood on the road. So we're going to take Nebraska plus 6.5 over USC Saturday there in Lincoln.
Follow the money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Paul Stone, our guest on the Progressive Guest Line. One more game here. Walk us through why you like Wazoo laying about 3.5 against Oregon State.
Man, I'll tell you, first of all, a question. Has any FBS team shifted the tide of its season more so than Washington State, since late September, say? I mean, this was a team that was kind of left dead in the water after they gave up 59 points to both North Texas and Washington. Those were turnover-filled games, so didn't give up just a ton of yardage, but gave up 59 points in both those games. They're sitting there at 2-2. They look like a team that's not going to be able to compete against the better teams on their schedule, and they play a tough schedule. Their schedule currently ranked 37th toughest in the nation by Jeff Sagarin. But after that Apple Cup loss to Washington on September 20th, I mean, it's like Washington just hit the go button. Washington State, rather, just hit the go button. They have been playing at a high level. They have not only covered their last 4 games, they have covered each of those 4 games by at least 15 points. In all cases, have covered those 4 by an average of 21.5 points a game. I'm sure at some point the market's going to catch up with Washington State, but I don't think it happened this week. I actually made Washington State -6 in Corvallis against this Oregon State team. It actually opened at -4 Sunday there at Circa. So they've taken a little Oregon State money pretty much universally right now. Washington State favored by 3.5. These two teams just seem to be on completely different trajectories. Again, on one hand, you got Washington State at 4-4. They need to split their final 4 games to achieve bowl eligibility. 2 of those games are actually going to be against Oregon State, kind of a scheduling quirk because these teams were, just left on their own after the dissolution of the former traditional Pac-12. The rematch going to be Saturday, November 29th on the Palouse there in Pullman. But Oregon State, while Washington State just looks to be in a really good spot, looks to be, just steering their way towards bowl eligibility. Oregon State 1-7 on the season, got their first win of the season in their pass game over FCS Lafayette. They fired their coach, as you know, 2 weeks ago, Trent Bray, former linebacker there for the Beavers. So just a lot of disarray there at Oregon State, really playing for nothing. Washington State, on the other hand, got a lot to play for. I think the Cougars going to beat Oregon State by a touchdown or more. One of my favorite sides of the week, Washington State -3.5 over Oregon State.
Very good analysis as always. Best of luck this weekend, my friend. Thank you for the time. We appreciate it.
Hey, same to you guys. Appreciate you having me.
There you go. Paul
Thanks,
Stone.
Paul.
He's on X at Paul Stone Sports. Joined us here in the Progressive Guest Line. All right. I know that Nebraska was one of the first games that you bet this week, right?
Oh, yeah. Got to fade Ridley in that spot.
Up next, time to grab a slice inside our pizzeria. Long shot bets that can pay off in a big-time way. We'll run down some of these bad boys next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Hungry for a winner? Sometimes all you need is a slice.
You make this pizza?
We swap pepperoni for parlays and give you alternate lines instead of anchovies.
I'm telling you, this pizza idea is really gonna happen.
From our our kitchen to your wallet. Sweat with us and throw some pizza money on it.
Double meatball, pepperoni, sausage, peppers, onions, extra mozzarella.
Welcome to Mitch and Pauly's Pizzeria.
Love doing this every week. Love Mama's Pizza. Also, can't wait to talk about the World Series coming up. We got more developments and news. Our Pizzeria tip jar sponsored by Mama's Pizza. Mama's Pizza, the only place where your pizza money always gets you a win. Check them out, mamaspizzas.net, at Mama's Pizza on Instagram. We'll get to the menu and all the news coming up in a second. Okay, Matt, Ohio State repeats. North Dakota State FCS title, Chiefs AFC, 37-1.
You've been following the FCS?
I do not. I've not been on that. But it's a great program. They're always in the mix. I imagine he's got a shot to cash. And the Buckeyes continue to kick ass and take names. Not bad, Matt. And you know how we feel about the Chiefs. Indiana wins it all. Colts Super Bowl, Dodgers World Series will. 311-1. Giddy up.
Well, that'll get it done. I mean, Indiana obviously cashing.
Colts could be the 1 seed. It goes back to what happens in January, but with this offense and the numbers you ran down yesterday, some big games coming up, but the 1-2 seed in play.
I wonder if you go back to August, what a Dodgers World Series, Indiana to make the playoff, and Colts to win the AFC would have paid.
No kidding.
Just so you're dialing it back here a little bit.
Yeah.
But those, I mean, dude, Indiana is phenomenal.
Yep. He's great. Jeff sent this in. Wemby MVP. Indiana wins the title. Ohtani World Series MVP, 77-1. Wasn't that long ago that he bet it.
Wemby MVP, Ohtani World Series MVP, and what's the other one?
Indiana wins it all.
Okay.
Yeah. He sent the ticket in before the show. Not bad. Rich in Canada at it again. After what he did and the monumental success he had in baseball. Canadians, first place. Devils, first place. Knights, first place. Jets, all division. 245-1. Jets in third place. Good luck, Rich.
I think Rich is, he's definitely one of our viewers who's ultra strong on the Canadians. He said, last week, grab him 10, 12-1, among other people. Did not do that. That number is long gone now.
Scott in Arizona. Dodgers minus a game and a half. Eagles, Lions, Chief division. Ty Simpson, Heisman, 36-1. Looking good.
Other than the Heisman.
You don't think so?
Well, he's looking fine. I mean, there's the Heisman market is like, how many people can win the Heisman?
Well, I think 4 or 5?
I would say at least that many, right?
I would give it to Simpson, though, right now, wouldn't you? Considering who they just beat.
Mendoza's been amazing.
Yeah, right. Simpson putting up good numbers. Tough call.
By the way, what do you make of all these quarterbacks at the next level?
Nothing. Not much.
I know. We have a mutual friend. Last week, he's so frustrated with college football. He said, can you imagine any of these college quarterbacks lifting the Lombardi Trophy?
No.
His thought was they're all going to stink at the NFL.
I agree. Connor in Pennsylvania. Betted this in March. Dodgers win the National League. Hello. Rams Super Bowl.
Okay.
61-1.
All right.
There you go, kid. Good job. Ohio State wins it all. Repeat. Bills Rams exacta. 250-1.
I have the same exacta.
All right.
I have nothing on Ohio State yet. It's not bad.
A good one, yes.
Pretty good.
Stafford MVP.
He can win this. He can.
Yep. Ohtani World Series MVP. Avs, Canes, Knicks, Hawks division. 450-1.
Damn.
Yo, Pauly. More wine. Pauly. On X. Stafford's coming down now.
Oh, he's like 9-1 at some spots.
I saw it. Uh-huh. Kyle Manship. Aces win the WNBA. Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year, 5 sacks Sunday. Utah, Big 12, Duke College Hoops, Cavs Eastern Conference, 6,640-1. Utah's your big boy. First, you got to get that one in there. They got to run the table.
I was going to say, that's going to be the most difficult one. Look, I mean, we can make the case all day long for different players to win the Defensive Player of the Year, and Myles Garrett can go out there and say, here's 5 sacks in your face.
That's right.
Okay?
Yep. When did Brian Kelly bet this? Dodgers World Series, Ohio State repeats Chiefs Super Bowl, 160-1.
A while back.
Wow.
Way before Brian Kelly got fired, I'll tell you that.
Yes. Buckeye Jake, October 17th. Dodgers World Series, Buckeyes repeat, Chiefs AFC Joker MVP, 92-1.
All absolutely feasible. And the common theme of today's segment here is people were wise to Ohio State.
That's right.
Weeks ago.
Yes, and because if you went the Penn State route, forget about it. Right? How many people were taken out with the Clemson stuff?
Well,
ACC got me. Yeah. Penn State, Clemson, all on those tickets, no doubt. Ozzy wanted me to share one. He had a round robin Saturday. He had a total that went over in the last minute. He had Rice money line, Memphis money line, and Wake Forest money line. Rice won in overtime. Wake won on a last-second field goal. And Memphis won as USF missed the last-second field goal.
Yeah, Memphis was dead and buried in that game.
It hit all of 15,000.
It paid 15,000.
Yeah, he hit them all. Incredible. That was well done. Phenomenal. Good job there. Took a bad beat last night. Mama's Pizza has your back. They deliver the crust that beats the spread every time. Oh, the garlic butter on the crust. Dynamite. I eat it backwards. Fresh ingredients, award-winning pies, a flavor that's a guaranteed winner. Franchise opportunities are available. If you're thinking long-term value, call 817-870-2571. 817-870-2571. They've added 2 specialty pies, the Wicked Pig and the Bacon Cheeseburger Pizza, to the menu. I had the pepperoni, the meat lovers, the chicken and bacon with Alfredo, and the barbecue chicken. It's phenomenal. MamasPizzas.net. Mama's Pizza.
I'll go back to the very first one on the list today from Matt, Ohio State to win it. The Chiefs to win the AFC and North Dakota State. In the FCS, yeah, North Dakota State's currently number 1.
Okay.
Overall. Surprise, surprise. And that paid 37-1 with that number. So we brought this up a little earlier talking about the Monday Night Football game last night. You know, the best numbers on KC now are long gone. Much earlier in the year when they were 0-2, they didn't look great. Guys were still injured or suspended. Some books, I think, had 15-1. Some. Then when you text me after a primetime game a couple of weeks ago, it was 9-1. Now that's cut in half. And to win the AFC, that's cut like in quarters.
Yeah, I think they win Sunday, yep. But they're at Buffalo, they're at Denver, Colts at home, I believe, and then at Dallas.
Right. So, again, I think the wise move here is maybe tailing people who, in this segment anyway, like Ohio State, and also tying in some KC stuff to win the AFC if you want to build new cross-sport parlays. And, in fact, if you want to do some... Well, the NFC is... How wide open is the NFC?
It's completely wide open. Detroit, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Rams, Eagles. 49ers can't get healthy.
Is there
I can't
Seahawks?
Yes.
Packers, you said?
Yes, I said the Packers. Yes, Seattle. Yes to Seattle.
Is there an angle here where the Lions and the Rams might be, I'm not going to say head and shoulders, but they're top tier, and then everybody else is behind them a little bit?
That's fair. Well, where you're jumping, the Packers? The way Jordan Love looked? Watson
that was a really good 2.5 quarters out of him on Monday night.
I'm still disappointed in the defense and been that way for a couple months now.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
That's how they started out.
But I will say this. I mean, I pay attention to the power ratings, different sources, outlets all the time. We ran down Steve McKinnon's here at vsin.com a little earlier. I think Green Bay was number 5 on his list. Before last week against Pittsburgh, some people had them either like right at number 1 or they were 2, top 3.
Most wins. Colts plus 340, Lions plus 650, Rams 7, Packers 8, Bills 8. Chiefs are 11-1.
What about Patriots again?
Oh, very good. 11.
11?
There's still a path, I think, for Tampa Bay to win 12 games. Maybe more.
Because of the schedule?
Yeah. And with all these injuries. Fewest wins, Titans are even money. Saints 3-1. They made the quarterback change today. Jets 450. Raiders 12-1.
Is there something there with the Saints just in case the quarterback change is a major downgrade?
Losing out?
I'm saying, like, we all think...
I don't think the Titans win another game.
Well, we all
Titans suck.
Like, Rattler's no good.
Right.
Unfortunately, I wanted that kid to be good. He can't play at this point. Maybe he can, down the road.
Yeah.
What if the rookie quarterback, who's 26 years old, is worse?
Could be.
Of course he could be worse.
Could be. Again, what's going on in the first quarter? They didn't score. It's 68-16 or something. They've been out and scored in the first quarter.
Yeah.
1 seed. Colts plus 150. Chiefs down to 350. Bills 4-1. Patriots 7-1. That's 1 seed.
I can't wait to watch the Colts Chiefs game in 3 weeks.
Packers are the favorites to get the 1 seed in the NFC.
Well, they have, the 1 loss and the 1 tie so far?
Lions 3, Rams 4, Eagles 6.
And again, their power rating is super high. Both teams are, obviously, in that division. Up next, we'll get to Game 4 World Series. I would have a tough time believing Shohei Ohtani's numbers if they were actually from a video game. We'll run down some of the amazing stats coming up next.